Hi guys, Hi here from the Art Gear Guide. Thank you so much for joining me today. As you can see here, I've got a review of a colour pencil book. This book is authored by Cynthia Knox. If you're into coloured pencils or anything like that, I am sure that you know who Cynthia Knox is. She is an absolutely outstanding colour pencil artist in her own right. She has lots of accolades to her name. She has lots of awards and what have you over the last 20 years that she has been using coloured pencils. Now, I first found Cynthia Knox whenever I started drawing about 7 years ago now. I think I've been doing this. And when I first got online and I was looking around and what have you, there wasn't an awful lot of stuff out there, but I found a platform called Craftsy. Now I know Craftsy is still about, but when I was on it, I personally think it was a little bit more comprehensive than what it is now. But nevertheless, Cynthia Knox had a few classes on there. In fact, actually, whenever I first went on to Craftsy, I think Cynthia only had one class on there, and then over the following year or 2 years, then she came out with a couple more classes, teaching different aspects of colour pencils. But I still have those classes. I still watch those classes. I still refresh myself with all the information that is on those videos. And I think it's, her teaching method is phenomenal. Absolutely excellent. She makes everything look so simple and easy. And the way that she approaches things is a very calm approach. There's no... Everything's taking your time, making sure that you get done what you want to get done and not rushing things and not, pushing yourself too hard. So, especially for beginners, I highly recommend looking at some of Cynthia's classes. Now, this book here that has come out is part of a series. It's called Painting in Coloured Pencil, and this one here is called Colourful Things. The first one was called Sweet Things. Now, we'll get into what's inside this book in a second, but I think that I wouldn't say that this book is for absolute beginners. But Cynthia has quite a number of books out on the internet and places like that where you can, or on Amazon, where the books are catered for absolute beginners, and they take you through everything, understanding paper, the pencils, everything that you need to know about the colour pencil medium and the paper that you might need to use, that type of thing. So if you're an absolute beginner and you want to get up to this stage, I would absolutely recommend some of Cynthia Knox's books. And I've done reviews of some of Cynthia's other books, and I'll have a link for those down below if you want to go ahead and take a look at those books and take a look at the reviews that I've done. Now, I am privileged and honoured over the years of back and forth messaging and chatting with Cynthia to be able to call her a friend. Now, it's kind of like one of those really surreal moments, where you idolize somebody, you watch them on videos and classes and things like that, and you read their books, everything, and then over time you eventually become friends with this person, and it's just one of those really strange surreal moments of realization. However, that all being said, anytime Cynthia has asked me to review any of her books, Cynthia has always made it very clear that she wants absolute honesty in the reviews, just the same as all my other product reviews, and so I just want to put that out there so that you fully understand that everything in this review is 100% honest and accurate. Now, I find doing book reviews really difficult because I want to show you what's inside the book, but I don't want to show you everything that's inside the book to the point where you don't need to go out and buy it. Obviously, the you know, the purpose of a review is for me to show you the product, tell you what I think of it personally, tell you if the flaws and the pros and the cons and everything about it, and then leave it down to you as to whether you want to go buy it. Now, Cynthia has, and all authors who pen books, put a lot of time and effort into creating these books for us, whether it's tutorials or, you know, just learning about different genres of art, that type of thing. There's a lot of information, a lot of time, headaches and everything that goes into creating the books and then getting them published and all that type of stuff. And so the last thing I want to do is show everything that's inside this book so that people don't need to go out and buy it, because that's not, it wouldn't be fair on the author. When I first seen this book, I looked at this image and I thought that this was what the book was about. I thought that it's about this image because if you look at the image itself, it's quite a complex image. You've got some landscape in the background here. You've got these gorgeous balloons, these gorgeous bright colours, bit of sky there as well. You've got this water here where there's reflection from the balloons. And so certain aspects of it at first appearance look really quite complicated, complex. I know a lot of artists struggle with getting reflections in their work, and so I thought that originally the book was just about like a project for this particular image, but it's not, and I'll show you the other projects that are in this book, which are just amazing. So right at the very beginning of the book, okay, we have some dedications, some acknowledgements, most of which is to Cynthia's family. Now, Cynthia is a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. She is very incredibly family orientated. She's got a beautiful family. She's been married to her husband Jeff for 35 years, and so that's what a lot of these acknowledgements and dedications in. Right down at the very beginning of, or the very bottom of these acknowledgements as well, Cynthia is a Christian, and she has this beautiful little acknowledgement down here. It says, "Lastly, I thank the Lord for being my rock and reason for who I am and all that I do. Words cannot express my gratitude." Now, I never get into religion or anything like that on this channel because it's a very personal thing, religion, and it's up to the individual. But I just thought that was a beautiful acknowledgement. Whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, it doesn't matter what faith you come from, or even if you don't have a faith. I think in this day and age we can all acknowledge that everybody's entitled to their own little their own thing. And I just thought it was a beautiful touch down at the bottom here. Little bit of an introduction here. Just letting you know what's in the book, what they're going to be talking about, and some website details down here at the bottom. And obviously Anne Kohlberg is the kind of like the publisher of the book. Anne has published all of Cynthia's, well, the vast majority of Cynthia's books over the years. And like I said earlier on, Cynthia has done books for absolute beginners, and then, books on horses or pets or humans or still life, you name it. Cynthia has done a book specifically on particular genres or skill level. So she is absolutely 100% knowledgeable on this medium. I mean, I can't think of anyone in the colour pencil world who is more knowledgeable, more books than Cynthia herself. So it's an amazing achievement. Table of contents down here, and this is where we see the different projects that are in this book. So obviously, I showed you the balloons there, but then there's, right at the very beginning, we have these two beautiful cardinals. But I'll show you all of that in a second. Now, there's a little bit of a a misprint here in the front, and it might throw you a little bit when you're hopefully buy the book, whether you buy it in this format or digital format. Just says here, chapter 1 is materials and techniques, and chapter 2 is the dynamic duo, which is the two cardinals. But when you go into the book, chapter 1 is the materials and techniques, which is the way it says. But then it says here, chapter 1 is the dynamic duo as well. So, but this really should be chapter 2. So I think it's just been a little bit of a misprint there. Absolutely irrelevant to the book and the wealth of information that you get from the book, but I just wanted to highlight it because to show you that I am doing this properly, the way I would do with any product review. So materials. Now, this is how you can tell that Cynthia absolutely knows what she's talking about, and that there's no kind of like, just stick something in there just to fill out the pages or anything like that. Going over all of the books that I have read from Cynthia, and I've read a lot of them, I have a lot of them here in the studio. The materials section is at the front of her book has hardly changed at all, indicating to you that these are the materials that Cynthia uses herself on a daily basis, and that's what's important to her, and the techniques as well. However, as Cynthia has gone through her journey, because Cynthia's been doing this now for 20 years, as Cynthia has gone through her journey, she has picked up little different tips and techniques herself, or certain additions to her artwork, one of which being pan pastels. Now, a few years ago, pan pastels came out, and colour pencil artists and pastel artists loved them. They're kind of like makeup trays, but they're really, really excellent for doing large background areas. And so Cynthia Knox uses pan pastels in some of her work, and obviously talks to you about pan pastels, the application of them, and what have you. But that's what's in the materials and techniques. Now, I have to show you this bit. So right at the beginning here, she just shows you the kind of like the material, the color pencils that Cynthia uses. But she talks about erasers, paper, drawing board, pencil sharpeners, pencil extenders, drafting brush, fixatives, everything. But here's the thing that I love about the way Cynthia teaches. Now, and she did this when I was watching the Craftsy tutorials. So here she talks about pressure. Now, obviously, Cynthia's trying to teach you something via a book, teach you how to draw via a book. And Cynthia's come up with this technique. And it's the pressure that you put on a pencil whenever you're doing your drawing. And it's on a scale from 1 to 5. This is just something that Cynthia has come up with herself. So pressure 1 is extremely light pencil application, where the tip is barely connecting with the paper. She calls this the whisper stroke. So very, very gently. Number 2 pressure is moderate pressure with a bit more paper connection. Number 3 is a medium pressure, and is similar to the pressure that you would use when you're writing your name. 4 pressure is firm pressure, and at the burnishing stage where the tooth of the paper is being flattened and the little white specks of underlying paper are covered. And then finally, the 5th pressure is very, very, very firm pressure, and referred to as the shouting stroke. So, overemphasizing. This may result in point breakage, but that never worries her, and just goes into a little bit about the 5th pressure. But you can see here in some of the images how the actual medium will look with each pressure, and different strokes and what have you. But the reason why this pressure thing is so important is because when Cynthia is going through these different projects with you, and she is explaining different things like feathers maybe, or when she's explaining how to do the skin on a portrait, she'll be saying, so on this section you want to be using a number 2 pressure, or on this section you want to be using a number 1 pressure. And this is what is so unique about how Cynthia does her teaching, especially in the books and whenever you're going through these projects. And I said at the beginning that I think this book is more aimed towards intermediate and above, like student type color pencil artists. But I really do think that, given how detailed the information is that Cynthia has in this book, that maybe somebody could come in, pretty beginner, not absolute beginner, but just starting out, and accomplish something worthwhile. I'll talk about that towards the end. So the first thing is the dynamic duo. I'm just going to show you, this is the image here. It's a beautiful image. At the front here as well, there's a list of materials, additional supplies. So here you've got your reference photo that you can print off and download, and you've got a line drawn here as well. You can obviously then, from the line drawn or from the reference image, you can create your own transfer onto the paper that you're going to be using. Cynthia also lays out here the exact colours that she's used for this drawing. Additional supplies as well. Down here she talks about different erasers. The Tombow Mono eraser. The paper that is used for this particular drawing is the Canson Pastel Me-Tints. A lot of colour pencil artists have started using pastel paper now because it's a lot more toothy and they can get a lot more vibrancy with the colour pencils. And then she says down here as well at the bottom, graphite transfer paper for the line drawn. So there's that. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this because this is all information that you would use when you're doing the project, but you can see the wealth of information that's in here, and it breaks down. You can see it breaks down into different sections, like when you're doing the wing or the head or the black or the eye or the branch. All that information is down in there, and Cynthia really does break everything down and take you through it. So every project in this book is laid out exactly the same, where you get the the materials that you need. This beautiful rose. So you've got the two cardinals, then you've got this beautiful rose. Look at this gorgeous artwork, and this is exactly what Cynthia produces day in, day out. And with these books, you could also, with a little bit of practice, be able to accomplish these beautiful drawings as well. And like I said to you, given the direction that Cynthia provides, I think anybody would be able to, with practice and time and enjoyment, would be able to accomplish this. I'm not talking about your first go. I'm talking about keep doing it, keep plugging away, and be able to do it. Now the next one up is this gorgeous still life, and what's really good about this is it's quite a dark image on the right hand side, and obviously we're talking about light here as well. The light hitting the basket on the left hand side, hitting the fruit, and this is a really excellent project for understanding light and shadow and stuff like that. So that's excellent. Then we come to the balloons. Now I'm going to show you the final image. There you go. Like I said there, you can just see there how gorgeous this image is with the reflections at the bottom, and everything is in here, all the way down to using what color to be using for these reds, and when you're getting further over, the different pressures that you should be using. Everything is laid out for you. There's no problems whatsoever. And then finally we have this Caribbean queen. So this beautiful drawing of this African lady, and you can see here again we're talking about light, understanding light, the light coming from the left hand side, just touching this beautiful lady's face and body at the top here, but this headscarf is also going to be teaching you an awful lot of different techniques and tips and everything, because this is super intricate, but if you follow everything that Cynthia has down there, you could definitely do it. Now here's the thing, right? Not everybody, not all artists that create these tutorials and what have you are like this, but Cynthia has always been there for her students. So if you purchase this book, whether you purchase the digital format or this one, and you're working away at one of the projects and you get stuck at a particular place, if you contact Cynthia through her website, or if you contact her through her social media platforms, explain to her that you're stuck on a part of the project, Cynthia will do her very, very best to help you through that section, talk you through it. And that, I think that is absolutely invaluable whenever it comes to learning. Now, I know that these images are really, really complicated looking, and if you're just brand new, you're not going to be able to pull this off right away. But given that Cynthia provides the reference image, the line drawn for you to trace it out onto your paper, and then the absolute detailed information with regards to pressure and everything, the right colours that you need to be using for the skin tones and the headscarf, all of that information, give it a go. You've got nothing to lose whatsoever. You don't have to show anybody your first or your second attempt, but just give it a go. Enjoy it. That's what this book is here for. It's here to guide you through certain projects, giving you tips and techniques that you can transfer over to any drawing that you might want to do later on down the line in the future. So just give it a go. Like I say, you don't have to show your final piece to anybody. You can just put it away into a folder, something that you can get out and look at in a couple of years' time and see the progress that you've made yourself. But I absolutely I'm a huge fan of Cynthia Knox's work. Her teaching ability is just phenomenal. And like I say, Cynthia's been at this now for just over 20 years. So she's got an awful lot of experience and knowledge of tried and tested tips and techniques. And by learning from somebody like Cynthia, you are getting the benefit of all the mistakes that she's made over the years. And she has, packaged it all together into the bits that work and provided that in this book. And like I say, if you are an absolute beginner, you don't want to tackle this book, there are other books that Cynthia Knox has out, and I'll have some links down to those below, as well as some of the other reviews that I've done of Cynthia Knox's book. By the way, Cynthia, I apologize from the bottom of my heart. I was supposed to have this review done before Christmas, but I was really, really ill, and so I wasn't able to get it done. I started one of the projects myself. I haven't completely finished it yet, but I will finish it, and when I finish it, I'm going to put it up on my Instagram feed. So if you want to follow me on social media, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, they're the best places to follow me. Also as well, if you would like to be kept up to date with giveaways that I do or new videos that I put out with regards to reviews or artwork that I'm doing in the future, if you subscribe to the channel, then you will get a notification. When you subscribe, there's a little bell icon at the side. Hit that bell icon and you will get a notification every single time I put a new video out, and it'll come to your phone or your tablet or your laptop, whatever you're using at the time. But that's about it. And also as well, go over to the Art Gear Guide website. I'll have a written breakdown of this book as well, so you can go across and take a little look at that. It's just another format of the same review here, and obviously over there I will be able to put out the price of the book. I haven't spoke about the price of the book simply because prices fluctuate. They go up and down all the time, depends where you buy them from. But I will have a price over on the written review, because from there I can change that as and when the price changes of the book. Anyway guys, thank you very, very much for watching this video. I know it's going on really long for a book review, but it's a really worthwhile book. It's absolutely phenomenal. And if you're a really good colour pencil artist, or you're not good colour pencil artist, but if you're an enthusiastic colour pencil artist, you love that medium and you really want to pursue it a little bit more, you enjoy using your colour pencils, definitely give this book a go, and don't be frightened of these projects. Just get stuck into them. You don't have to let anybody see it until you're ready to show the people what you've produced. And that's another thing as well. Cynthia absolutely loves seeing all of the work that you guys do of her projects. So there are ways that you can do that. All that information is in the book. So that would be great. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really look forward to seeing you all again in the next one. I have to say, I'm a little bit rusty getting these videos back out again. I know, because I had about 7 weeks off. The first video that I put out there the other day about the Life Fast one, I was really nervous putting that out. Really nervous. I thought I'd made 100 mistakes. But anyway, I'll get better, and the videos will get better soon as well. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.